Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. What's the best possible tire for your pickup when you're a true outdoor adventurer and you like to travel around to some crazy places? Let's find out. What's the best possible tire for your pickup? In my particular case, it's a Toyota Tacoma. And if you're for adventuring and outdoor travel and maybe like to go up in the woods or do some mountaineering or whatever, what's the best possible tire? Well, for me, I chose the General Grabber AT2. And you can see the General label there. And of course the Grabber label's upside down, so I'll show you that there. Cool. So why did I choose the General Grabber AT2 out of all of the options available on the market today? Well, I've got a few notes here. I'm going to tell you about that. But before I do, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button just below, just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it definitely helps me keep this channel going, makes it much easier to keep me cranking on YouTube. So thank you very much. So why did I choose the General Grabber AT2 out of the Hankook or the BFG or the Michelin or Goodyear or anything else? Well, originally, I remember the first time I got these General Grabber AT2s, I was down in San Diego, and the tires that came with my truck when I originally bought it, oh my gosh. So why would you have a four-wheel drive with some sissy tires? Okay, so let me show you, and I still have the spare. Probably should have bought a fifth tire, but I'll deal with that. I'm going to show you what was on the truck. So I'm going to show you the tread. Here, you can see that tread. Not exactly off-road performance, that's for sure. In theory, I mean, it's a Bridgestone, whatever. But those were the worst tires. Now, not that Bridgestone's bad, but for off-roading and tearing around, those are the worst tires I've ever had in a truck. And of course, it looked like when I bought the vehicle, they're well worn, and you know, the owner probably traded them out. Who knows? Whatever. I move on with life. But I called up a local tire shop, and he said, you know, you're looking at all these different things, but you should really consider these General Grabbers. And I thought, General, what's that? General brand, black and white label. So I started looking around, and I was duly impressed. When I looked on TireRack.com, I'll put a link below to TireRack.com, I had to consider multiple things for a tire. Not just off-road performance, but mud performance, snow, and ice performance. Because I live in one of the Rocky Mountain states, having good snow and ice performance is paramount to me getting around, to the safety of myself, my vehicles, my passengers, and other people around me. So one of the things I first considered is let me find the little label here. Where the heck is it? Okay, right there. That's the severe service rating, that little snowflake with a mountain on it. That, if you were an adventurer, excuse me, still getting used to this smog air in Denver. It's kind of weird. But that little symbol is everything. If you're a hardcore adventurer and the first time you find yourself in snowy or icy conditions and you don't have that label on your all-terrain tires, you might find yourself in serious trouble, because what that little symbol is the tire industry standard for snow and ice performance for an off-road tire. Now, for what they call street tires, of course all tires drive on the street. This sounds kind of silly, but for street tires, that rating, I don't even know if they have it on there. But if you're really not hardcore off-roader, but you off-road and you adventure a lot, you're going to definitely want some sort of vehicle with treads that look, you know, maybe not exactly like this. And you can see the chalk marks. I mean, these chalk marks are brand new, and by the time I end up in Nebraska in a few hours, those chalk marks will be gone, so I'm enjoying that. But you want some sort of very aggressive lug. Now, you might say, hey, I should get some mud tires. I mean, they're way more aggressive. My girlfriend's FJ, I had these tires. I couldn't pull out a van that was stuck, but she had mud tires, and I had, like, in my previous truck, I had four-wheel locker. It was crazy, and she had mud tires. She was actually able to get the van out. It was kind of embarrassing, but whatever. I have the option to put chains on here if I really need. My old truck had rear lockers, but that's a whole other story. So these tires that I considered, when I look on TireRack.com, they're rated at 8.7 out of 10 for ice, maybe 8.8 out of 10 for snow, and ice performance is about 8.3 out of 10. So really good. And I think, as far as I recall, the gold standard for standard AT or all-terrain tires are the BFG KOs. Now, that's what a lot of hardcore people run before they go to off mud tires, and they're really, really incredible, but they are also stunningly expensive. Just for round numbers, let's say these are 160 at the time, depending on where you buy them. The BFGs can be 220. Now that's $60 a tire. That is, that's almost 30, 38, pushing 40% more expensive. Now, are the BFG KOs 40% better on tires? The data shows on TireRack.com that that's not actually the case. The BFG KOs and these General Grabber AT2s, after tens of millions of miles and tons of people reporting, indicate that the BFG KOs and the General Grabber AT2s are so close, I would say, to be arguably statistically insignificant. Now, if you run a heavy truck like a Dodge Ram Super Duty or an F350 or something, you're in a whole other world. Those much heavier trucks will definitely wear these guys out faster, and you spend a lot more in your truck, so you're going to spend a lot more on your tires. But for us mid-size to light-size truck people like Toyotas, FJs, Nissan, or Toyotas, Nissans, Jeeps, some Jeeps, vehicles like that, the options, the vehicles run roughly about the same weight. Don't argue, oh man, my Jeep's this weight. No. They're roughly the same. They're not a full-size pickup. So these work really well. So a couple things you're going to want to get or consider when you're an off-roader or definitely an adventurer is, one, you get a tire gauge. You got to get one of those little digital jobs. I've had this thing for, I don't even know, 10, 15 years, absurdly long. I've replaced the batteries in this like once. Always have this in your glove compartment. And the tire store that I just bought these tires from, they actually gave me one of these little tire depth gauges, and my tires were in the yellow. The tread was pretty much down to the bars. It wasn't dead, but this little depth gauge allows you to measure how much tire you have. So check this out. Oops. Turn around so you can see it. So you push down on here, and I can see that this tire has between 16 and 17, 30 seconds of tread, which means they're brand new. I've literally driven them maybe 400 yards. I just wanted to get out of the tire store parking lot. So the tire gauge is critical because running the air pressure in your tires properly is utterly critical to the performance of your tires. Now, it's always irritating. I love the company, but depending on who fills them up, right now the tires on the cool side of the truck are at 37, 38 psi. On the warm side of the truck, and in the sun, they're 39 psi. That is way too high for a Tacoma. The door rating here indicates, and this is really important to you too, the door rating indicates on my truck that they should be actually run, where is it? At 29 psi. Now for me, that's too low. What I do is, I've done the tire squeal test. If you drive around a clover leaf in a city, getting onto the freeway and you drive aggressively, if you hear squealing, you know your tires are underinflated or seriously overinflated. So I've been running my tires at 32 psi, which caused the middle of the tires to wear out faster than the outside. That was annoying. But when I've run the tires at 30 psi, sorry, the 30 psi, I get a little bit of squealing, so it's, you know, it's a trade. So you really just bust out with your pressure measurement thing, and then I need to air these down, so I just get a pin or even use my fingernail, you know, and I'll air them down. See if I can air it down at all. Let's see if I can do this here. Cool. And I'll measure. Oops. That's at 36 psi. Getting there. I'll air it down after the video. I mean, obviously that's pretty super simple. So I'm going to air these guys down to about 31 because I'm just to drive across multiple states doing some adventuring. So that's one thing about these adventure tires too, is these particular General Grabbers actually have stud holes. And not that you're a stud, because you're not. These stud holes actually allow me to buy aftermarket studs and wear out my fingers and screw them into these holes. And I can actually have seasonal studded tires. So in winter, that's really cool. So that's a very neat option. I mean, you only might be able to do it for a year or two, but boy, if you want some hardcore traction, studs are it. If you go to Finland, Norway, Sweden, or any one of the Nordic countries where it's, you know, crazy cold and icy constantly, studded tires are what everybody runs. No one runs chains, okay? In Southern California, like, oh, you gotta have chains to go on the mountain. Like, you don't have to have chains. No. Just go. Put chains out of your mind. So let's see. Can you add studs? That's a big consideration, because if all of a sudden the place you're in is crazy icy, you can order studs online, screw them in with a little stud tool, and voila! So covered PSI, tread depth gauge, super handy tool. Not that you can't figure it out, but it is handy. Severe PSI, clover leaf squeal. Oh, and the warranty thing. So when you're buying a warranty on these tires, you got to really consider if that's worth it. Because I mean, I've gone through, I don't even know how many tires. On my old pickup, I probably went through, let's see, 50,000 to at least 6 or 7 sets of tires. I mean, I drive a lot before I finally killed that truck. I expect to probably do, this is my second set of tires on this. As long as I take care of the engine, change the oil and such, it'll last a long time. So is that warranty really worth it? To me, no, because I live in a location where the tire company that I bought the tires from, it's so far away, like in another state, not like 50 miles, but ridiculous far. It's not worth it to me. Now that said, I was looking in the parking lot, I found a screw, and of course I threw it in the rock, so it's not in the parking lot. I look back at all the times I didn't buy that warranty, and I did, and I've had like one tire die ever. So all those warranties I bought at 20 or 30 bucks a tire, I mean, I could have bought at least 2 sets of tires for free just by skipping the warranty. And I know some stores, like another store in this chain I called, are you sure we'll drop the price of the tires so you can get the certificate? And the store was like 40? No, he was like 50 bucks over every other store who wasn't selling it. So he dropped the tire. Believe me, shop around. I wasn't born yesterday. I mean, come on. So that replacement certificate thing, if you kill your tire, just look in the long term of your life, it's just not worth it. You're wasting your money. It's like buying a Kindle and getting the replacement warranty, and the Kindle's $100, and getting the replacement warranty for 30 bucks. No. So those are the reasons why I chose the General Grabber AT2s, because I live in a snowy, icy place. I travel around a lot, off-road, light duty, because this guy has a running rail and I need to put a lift on it. So that's why I chose these tires, simply because for the price to performance ratio they give above the industry standard, they're so much cheaper. I mean, like $800 versus $1,300. I mean, I could almost buy a flight to Ireland and do a whole adventure travel show there for the differential cost, and the performance, based on my experience and millions and like tens of millions of other miles of people driving, these Generals are sweet. And when you call up the tire stores and they say, oh yeah, this or that is very comparable, look on TireRack.com, link below, and check it out and look at the millions of miles of people driving, knowing that some people are clowns, and make a wise decision. Because if you adventure around and you think, oh, I don't really want to get that little mud snow, oops, sorry, what the heck is that? That mud snow rating deal there. And you think, yeah, what's the big deal? Believe me, the first time you don't have it and you're like going crazy on the ice and snow and you wish you would have had them, that little bit of money, as you crash your vehicle into the ditch, you'll be like, wow, that wasn't a savings at all. So if you're a hardcore adventurer, I cannot recommend enough getting a tire that has an 8+ rating on TireRack.com for not mud, but snow and ice and deep snow conditions, simply because the first time you go out, you're just going to regret it. So that's why I bought these tires. I hope this review was helpful to you. My name is Aaron Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Again, please just hit subscribe on my channel. I would totally appreciate it. And also like the video and add a comment. I'd love to hear your comments. I always like to talk about off-roading and tires and all this. Obviously, I don't have a crazy lifted vehicle, but, you know, can't do everything, right?